We're going to talk about of course, the defending champion Denver Nuggets first and what their chances are of repeating. And you know what, Marcus? This is what people don't understand this when I do the offseason rankings. I rank them 30th because they're already good. What's the matter with y'all? Like, y'all don't get the concept of what we're doing here. They didn't have to do that much. They're the defending champions. That's why they're good. That's why they won the championship, because they're really good.
You said, well, people wanted you to put
They
them
were
first
they
for
were
best
killing me
offseason.
because I ranked them last in the offseason moves. And I'm like, well, they didn't have to do anything in the offseason because they're the defending champions. That's why. So the fact that they lost Bruce Brown, I think, hurts them a little bit. And they didn't really replace him. I understand their theory about it, but he was a guy that produced in the finals at a high level. So I think when you lose some and you lose Jeff Green, I think, you did not have a good offseason. So
Yeah, I don't think they did, but I think it's fine for the very same reasons.
exactly.
You know, I mean, as you know, man, one of the most underrated challenges is repeating. Repeating is
Yes.
hard. It's
Yes.
hard. So the fact that they kind of stood pat is a little interested. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like they felt like, hey, we need to prepare for what's coming. You know what I'm saying? So you would think they would have made some moves, but man, they got some young dudes who you figure will get better,
Yeah.
and nobody's talking about them at all, like at
Yeah.
all. So that's probably going to help them too. That imagine being a defending champ and having a chip on your shoulder, right? Like that's
Yeah.
that's going to be like this is what it was. 2015 Warriors won, and everybody's talking
Yeah.
about it
Right.
wasn't real, it was injuries and all that, and then they
Yeah.
won 24 in a row. I feel like Denver is going to have that kind of chip, but I'm looking to see, man. You know who I want to see? I want to see. I mean, obviously Christian Braun, everybody's talking about like,
Yeah.
how good he's. I want to see Peyton Watson this year.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
he's if
Yes.
he's
Yes.
if he can be something like he's got the length and
Yes.
athleticism, like I just feel like they might have some pieces they're banking on who are young. If they get
Yeah.
better, it'll be a factor for sure.
It is fascinating that their philosophy about it is we're not just going to roll in old vets looking for a ring and then have to replace them a year later. We were going to invest in now some of this is financial, obviously, with the expenditures that they have up top, but we're going to invest in our young guys, our draft guys. We're going to draft older guys because we want guys that are ready to play. And I think it's that part. I'm fascinated by that, like that philosophy, because that goes against the grain of what every defending champ tends to do, which is let's bring in another grizzled vet to shore up or to keep the party going with our core group, because we don't have to worry about a grizzled vet. He can just come in and we can just plug and play. But they're like, no, we're going to develop these guys, and if it means playing Watson and Braun a lot in big roles means we lose a few more regular season games, so what? We don't care. And I think that's fascinating. I'm fascinated by that.
It is risky though, GA.
It's risky.
You know
No, I mean,
why? I mean,
that's why most people don't do it, because it
we
is risky.
saw it in the playoffs. Like, I mean, they didn't have any bench. And
No.
if Christian Braun isn't like come out of nowhere as like this
Yeah.
rookie,
We
like,
had
but
to,
normally young dudes don't
yeah,
show up in the
exactly.
postseason. Like that's where you kind of need some vets. So it is a little risky. I do feel like if we talking about Denver, we got to shout out the now late great Brendan Malone and
Yes.
Michael
Good call.
Malone's father who died, and our hearts are out to Michael Malone. Know what it's like to lose
Yes.
a dad.
Yes. Me too.
I'm hoping he coaches his butt off in honor of his
Yeah.
dad this year. You know what I'm saying? And now he's got a
Yes.
chance. I'm glad his dad got to see him win a championship. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. When you are in this business for a minute, you remember most people, right? And Brendan Malone was one of the first guys that was helpful, kind, accessible to me when I had dumb questions because I was just starting to know what the hell I was talking about, and was on a championship team, was the assistant coach on the Pistons under Chuck Daly, with Brendan Sir. They called him the Brendans, so um, but would explain things in a way that wasn't condescending to a young reporter. And, so I completely appreciate you shouting out Brendan Malone, because he was one of the good dudes for a long time to a lot of people in our profession, in terms of explaining stuff. Just a
Hey,
good
what do you
dude.
expect from Jokic? We got a minute change left. What do you expect from
Okay.
Jokic?
So this is where I think this is the key to me. This. When you win one, most guys get complacent. only a few get greedy, right? And I want to see, is he going to be greedy and say, no, one's not enough. I want to win 5. I want to win 6. I want to. And if he's greedy, oh shit, Marcus, they're gonna be they're gonna be a problem. But if he's content with his 1, then they're vulnerable, I think. Now, look, there's no doubt he's the best player in the world. We're not arguing that. What I'm asking is, what I don't know is he going to be greedy about winning multiple championships?
I'm erring on the side of greedy, considering
Yeah.
he's probably been greedy his whole life.